Yes, sir. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and in today's video, we are back at it with another Forza Horizon 4 build video, I guess. But for today's video, man, as you guys can see, we are starting out in that 5.0 Mustang GT. Beautiful view of the lake here at the homestead. One of my favorite garages to start here, even though the road out front really isn't much. But in today's video, what I'm thinking we are gonna do is jump into a iconic car. As you guys can probably see from the thumbnail, the title, what we're going to be doing right now is trading out a car that is really not known for going around corners all that well, the Mustang GT, and we are going to be building a car that is synonymous with fast cornering, and that car is synonymous. I think that's the right word, man. That car is the Acura Integra Type R. Now, we have done a couple of Integras on the channel in the past, but what I think we're gonna do is just a full out track build. Now, if I know myself, we've probably done a couple racer builds in the past. We have probably done, a couple of street cars, basic paint, basic wheels, but what I think we got to do for today's video is do something a little bit different, man. I'm gonna look at this car now as just a straight track build. Now, I probably should have went ahead and done this car on Forza Motorsports, I guess, either 6 or 5 or whatever one. I think we're at 7 now. I don't even know anymore. I can't keep up with these Forza franchises, but nonetheless, because this is the latest game, I believe, from Forza, unless I've been sleeping, there could be a Forza 8. I have been sleeping for quite a while, I'm not going to lie. As you guys know, been posting a couple of 3D tuning videos lately. Haven't really been playing Forza that much. So if you see me do some weird stuff that's out of character, not something that I'd normally do, is because I haven't played this game in a while. I'm going to be a bit rusty. But for the engine, I would like to see a 2-liter K-swap in this thing. Now, as you can see, we do have a 2-liter inline-4 VVT. I believe that's the K-swap right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the thing about that is, if you know anything about these older Hondas, they really respond well to the K20. Great power to weight ratio. What's this, drivetrain? I think we're going to leave this front wheel drive. But with the K20, they are absolute rippers. That high red line, all that low end torque, just an absolute beauty of an engine. Now, because this is a track build, do I really want to complicate things by putting either a turbo or a supercharger? Honestly, I really don't. I feel like either of these items are really going to affect the way that the car comes out of corners and just the way that the wheels are going to lose traction at an earlier point. And the key of this one is going to be to have that traction. We're going to go for less power in this one, and we're just going to dial in the suspension, get a nice set of tires on there. Obviously, we got to have the front splitter and the wing because it is going to be a track build. I want this thing to look as aggressive as it's going to drive. Now, normally I would go with the race tire compound, but again, because this is going to be our track build, I think we're going to throw some tire letters on this thing. I think it's going to be a nice touch. Obviously, we're going to widen up the front tires. Now, I know for a lot of these Honda guys, they're running that square setup. Not too much meat in the back. So let's see. What do we have on the front here? A 245. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can match that on the back. Give us a nice square stance right now. Now, I think, going to just up the diameter of the wheels just a little bit. Now, for these cars, 16s, 17, 18 is looking like, if you want to stance boy it out, get a little bit of camber on there. But I think for a track build, a 16 is going to be more than enough for this car. I think that's going to allow us to get a nice wheel on this thing, but also keep the functionality of having a lot of sidewall and a lot of flex. Obviously, this being a video game, not going to affect us too much, but had this been, a build that we're doing in real life, we're definitely going to want to keep a little bit of sidewall on there, especially if we are tracking a car. Now, did I skip over? Where do I get to select my wheels here? There it is. We totally skipped over the rim style. So now I'm going to actually pick the wheel now that we got the stance all dialed in. I'm going to let you guys know when I find something that I like here. Alrighty, so for my wheels, I'm really liking the 1552s. Now, I was going to go with the classic, you know, like some BBS or some Rays or something like that. But I go with those classic wheels all the time, so I was really going for something that had a nice little dish on it, but still looked halfway decent. But now that I actually have the wheels on here, I think we're gonna bump that wheel diameter up to a 17, just with the big lip. The 16s look a little bit small on this. But now that we have our wheels selected, this thing is looking meaty right now. Now we're going to jump into the drivetrain. Now this thing is going to need to get an upgraded stage 3 clutch right now. Transmission, I think I'm going to go ahead and upgrade because this thing's not going to have a turbo. I feel like I'm really going to have to mess around with the gear ratio a bit in order to dial this thing in. Driveline, we're definitely going to be upgrading those drive shafts for something a little bit lighter. And the differential, we're definitely going to upgrade that as well because this thing needs an LSD here because open diff isn't going to work. Even though this is the Type R and probably did come with the LSD, we're going to go ahead and upgrade it just for video game sakes anyways. So now with this setup, as you can see, the drifty, this is not a drifty boy. But I'm going to put the best race springs and dampers, but I am probably going to mess around with the suspension just a little bit. Actually, it doesn't look super low. Now, the goal with this car, because we're doing a track build, I don't want this thing to be slammed on the ground. Normally, I go with that stance boy look. And in all honesty, this car, because of the purpose that I'm going to be using it for, I actually do want to race this thing, you know, even though I'm not doing any road course racing. Even on the street in the game here, I do want to do a couple of laps once I'm done this video and actually see what the car is like and how it performs. We already upgraded all that stuff. As you can see, went the wrong way there. But now that we're at the engine aspect, my plan here from the very beginning is I just want to do a fully tuned, fully bolt-on, naturally aspirated K20 in this car. So that means we're going to be upgrading everything that we possibly can on the engine. As you guys already saw, we got the roll cage in there. We did a full weight reduction, full race brake setup. Suspension, we're going to do a little bit of dialing. I wouldn't mind seeing a touch of camber in the front and back, and that's going to help when we are taking turns at you know, high speeds. So as you can see, we fully upgraded the engine. We are at 86,000 credits for a Type R, which in all honesty, even though this car is an 01, it is a classic. So there's people out there that I'm sure have spent pretty close to 86,000 on a legit Type R. It's just one of those cars, when you find one and it's clean, you know, you got to pay what you got to pay in order to keep it that way. But now that we got our upgrades dialed in, it's time to jump into the paint here. Now, I actually want to find a track setup, kind of a livery, just to, you know, make this car stand out a little bit. Now I'm going to skim through a couple of options here, see what I can find, just to save myself the time of actually doing it myself. We're going to go ahead and search here and see if we can just find some racing inspired designs. Got a couple of designs here. I'm going to skim through a couple of them. Let you guys know when I find something that I like. Looking for kind of a red, like this Exetti. I really like that. We could go with the classic spoon, but I think I'm going to do something a little different on this one, so we'll see what I can find here. Now, there are a couple that I do like here. Like I showed you guys a few seconds ago, that Exetti one was really at the top of my list. But I gotta say, and just keeping with the theme of this build, I feel like this K-tuned livery right here would actually be perfect. Obviously, with this car being K20 swapped, it's only right. But now that we got that out of the way, it's time to jump into the tuning and really get this thing dialed in. So we're not going to touch anything on the tires, but I do kind of want to bring that gear ratio in just a little bit, so we're geared more towards acceleration than we are speed. Now we do have a little bit of camber here already. I'm going to put just a touch more on the back just to give it a little bit more stance. Our toe and caster, we are going to leave the way that they are. We're going to stiffen up our anti-roll bars here just a bit. Obviously, that's going to help keep us stable going in and out of corners. Springs, I'm also going to stiffen up just a little bit. Now again, this is one of those items that we just want to be a little bit more stiff than when it came from the factory on this suspension. Now here's where I'm going to do things a little bit different. As you guys can see, we're keeping the ride height where it is. I feel like that's going to really help us going in and out of corners. It's just going to keep the car from bouncing around too much when it's slammed to the ground. Even in a video game, believe it or not, it does bounce the car around more than I would like, especially when you're doing those off-road races. That's where you really see it. So as far as everything else goes, I'm pretty happy here. I think we are pretty much dialed in. If we have to, we'll come back, make some changes, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But now that we got all that out of the way, it's time to get this thing on the road and see how it drives. So first and foremost, we'll do a little 360 here. Love this livery. You can see the little vents on the hood and on the side fender there. That K20 just sounded mean. Little backfire there, very nice. On gravel, so it's only natural that we're spinning, but I'm hoping that once we get this thing out onto the concrete, there's very little wheel spin, but that's definitely not the case here. This thing is spinning like crazy already. The thing about this engine is it just revs so high. It's just an absolute screamer. As soon as you get past 8,000, that's where it starts wanting to break loose. Now the key here is going to be just being easy on the throttle and just letting it roll through the corners. Because as soon as you're cornering and trying to hit the gas in a car like this that's so light, that's where you're going to notice a lot of wheel spin. Third gear, actually, you know what? Once you get this thing pointed in the right direction. Oh, speed zone. This should be a perfect opportunity to see how fast we can take these corners. Ooh. It's almost a little bit unreal when you're driving this car. You're expecting to have to brake so much more. That one we kind of lost the back end. But the grip is just unreal that you don't expect it to grip so much, so you're just coasting through these corners. Taking her a little bit off-road in there though. Is this a drift zone? Speed zone again. See, the speed zones here is where this car is really going to shine, I think. After I throw it right into a wall. I don't think that's going to help anything there, Squally. But as you can see, just ripping around these corners. See, this is one of those cars that I could be driving here. New personal best on that one. 2 out of 3 stars. 20 kilometers more, I would have got that 3 stars. Not terrible, but this is one of those cars that I could just sit here and drive for a half an hour, 45 minutes, just yakking away. Taking her off-roading again. I gotta say, these roads here, these are the perfect roads for this car. Just winding through the mountains here. Now, if there's something you guys know that I can do to get a little bit more grip here, I mean, we could try squaring up the setup, I suppose. Because I gotta say, there is a breaking point with the grip here, and I feel like this car could grip just a little bit harder. Whether it be from dialing in the suspension, squaring it up, or, you know, lowering that tire pressure just a little bit. Wouldn't mind getting a little bit more grip out of this thing, but nonetheless, she's a ripper, man. Certified ripper, bro. But what I'm thinking that we're probably going to do... Man, my guy just looks out of place in his tuxedo driving this extreme race car right now. What I think we're going to do is probably head back to a spot that's a little more populated, get ourselves some nice backdrops, and take our thumbnail screenshot here in a second. And as we normally do around this time, put an end to this video. So if you guys did enjoy this one, I know it's a little bit different with the track builds, but I feel like, you know, I've been playing Forza for so long that I kind of need a theme in order to really, you know, get something that's going to be interesting for you guys. Again, as always, if you guys do have any, you know, any YouTuber requests, drop those down in the comments section as well. Still taking requests, and we are still going with those weekly videos. I know back in the day, we're doing those daily uploads, but I'm not gonna lie, you know, your boy's been busy lately, man. I just been busy, dude. But as always, I'm your boy D Nolly, aka Don Squally. If you guys did enjoy this one, don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys are not subscribed yet and you want to see more of me crashing into walls and buses and things of that nature, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Oh, and trains. Gotta love that. But yeah, with that being said, I am your boy D Nolly, aka Don Squally, and we gonna catch y'all mofos at the next one, man. Peace. Don't die. Oh shit, where you going, bro? Don't be creeping on my friend. Don't be creeping on my friend. You and your homie. Oh, nut shot. Oh, buddy. Go. And your boy, man. Get him out of here. Oh, fucking. Oh, my God.